Gold mining, illegal mining, urban mining, mining in general has many faces, and we'll be showing you some of them over the next half an hour. A warm welcome to a new edition of Eco Africa. My name is Sandra Twinobium, and greetings from Kampala, Uganda. And of course, greetings to my colleague Chris Elens all the way in Lagos, Nigeria.
Thanks, Sandra. Yes, today we'll be talking a lot about mineral resources, but also about what we do to our environment when we go after them and how we can do better. Here is some of what we have coming up on the show. We see how complete houses are built out of plastic waste in Ghana. Find out how bicycling and planting trees fit together in Zimbabwe. And learn how important raw materials are recycled from electronic scraps in South Africa. What do you do when a natural disaster destroys your livelihood? Many Mozambicans were faced with that question in 2019 after the devastation caused by Cyclone Idai. Prospecting for precious metals was for many people the only option to make some money. The work is hard, the reward often minimal. And not only that, it can harm the environment and local wildlife.
The Chimanimani Mountains look like an untouched paradise. But Antonio Nguvene knows better. He is once again on the trail of illegal gold prospectors. Usually the streams around here are clear, but not this one. So there must be an illegal mine somewhere upstream in the middle of Mozambique's Chimanimani National Reserve. His rangers detain every gold miner they catch.
Don't you know this is a nature reserve?
No, I only arrived yesterday. I heard others were here.
Don't you know this isn't allowed?
No, I didn't. A friend told me I should come.
So he didn't know either.
Right.
Where are the other Mozambicans?
The gold diggers are called gaimperos. The rangers see this group for the first time and call the police. Only repeat offenders face time in jail because the national park wants to win over the gold miners.
When we find somebody for the first time, we try to educate them. We talk to them about the negative impact of illegal gold mining. And we also tell them about alternatives and opportunities, for example, in tourism. But also about development projects in agriculture and nature conservation.
The gaimperos are a serious problem for the national park. Thousands of people lost everything due to Cyclone Idai in 2019. Now they're looking for gold and precious stones using the most rudimentary methods just to get an income. As a result, forests are being cut down and toxic mercury is contaminating the waters. So the national park is seeking to provide alternative sources of income. Gilberto Chibata is one of the first beneficiaries of a job creation scheme. He trained as a veterinarian and now helps farmers look after their cattle. The park is working with a conservation project called Moz Bio to create jobs for people who live in the areas bordering the park. Before Chibata became a vet, he too was a gold prospector.
Yes, I used to do it too. But then I began to have doubts and understand that you can't always be a gold digger. The more I take out, the less there is, until one day it's totally depleted. And if there's nothing left, what should I live on? That's why I started working as a vet, and it's been well worth the effort.
Since 2017, the park has created hundreds of jobs in agriculture, everything from organic coffee growing to sustainable beekeeping and livestock farming. But for many, gold is still more appealing. New mines are always popping up. This one blocks an important elephant path on the edge of the park. A team from the Ministry of Mineral Resources and Energy is on site. Last week, police evicted some gaimperos and burned down their camp. Obete Martini, the ministry's Inspector General, wants to make sure the mine remains closed. But at the same time, he also wants to make a deal with the miners.
Os operadores artesanais continuam a extrair.
We want the people here to keep mining gold, but in an organized manner that benefits both them and the government. To do this, they need to form cooperatives. We have a program that helps miners set up their own cooperatives. We also teach them methods that help them to work more effectively and without having such a negative impact on the environment.
To see what this can look like, we head to Tsetsera, one of the 5 mining cooperatives in Manica province and the only one in the buffer zone bordering the park. Any Mozambican can become a member, but they have to hand over a third of their proceeds as taxes and fees. The gold is mined and sold legally. The tunnels are safe, and the ministry has donated simple tools. However, some miners use highly toxic mercury to bind gold dust from the mud. A board member in the cooperative, Eliseo Makumba, says it's the only way to stay competitive, because illegal miners don't care about environmental regulations, so they can push down the price.
Why are we as a cooperative left behind? Well, we have to work with the people, we have to register them, monitor the work, pay taxes and government fees. When there's a problem, for example, if one of our members has an accident in a mine, we have to take them to the hospital. So it's very difficult to compete with the illegal mines.
Meanwhile, Antonio Nguveni is meeting one of the 15 beekeepers supported by the park and by the conservation group Mos Bio. He is unsure about the mining work in Tsetsera. The use of mercury is a serious violation of the rules, but the mining cooperative has at least prevented hundreds of illegal gaimperos from coming to the park to look for gold. Still, Nguveni doesn't want another cooperative here. He prefers to talk about the success of sustainable agriculture, which he hopes can be expanded.
With agricultural projects, of which beekeeping is just one example, we have been able to reduce the negative impact humans have on the environment by almost half. For one thing, we currently see that deforestation is decreasing.
These successes are sorely needed. The mine blocking the elephant path, where the police burned down the camp, is fully operational again by the very next day. The gaimperos will not stop looking for gold because they are poor and need the money.
If they stop us from digging here, all the people will starve to death. By mining, we can at least buy some food and pay school fees. School fees, I cannot stress that enough.
The illegal prospectors will surely continue searching for gold. It's more dangerous than working in a cooperative, but also more lucrative.
When people don't have enough to survive on, protecting the environment is often the least of their concerns. That's not surprising, and we see it all the time. But sometimes there are ways to make a living that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Right, Sandra?
Absolutely, Chris. Urban mining is a term that refers to the process of recovering valuable metals through mechanical and chemical treatments. At the University of Cape Town, one professor wants to introduce that idea not just in South Africa, but across the entire continent.
It resembles a meat grinder, but this machine grinds up circuit boards instead of pork or beef. The setup is part of an innovative research project in South Africa, finding out how to recycle the precious bits of circuit boards. Takunda Kondo and Jochen Peterson from the University of Cape Town figured out a way.
We were trying to crush the circuit board so that we can access the inner layers, so the copper that's sandwiched in between these layers within the board.
Accessing the metals like copper or more valuable gold is difficult and costly. Most of South Africa's e-waste is processed overseas by companies that operate huge furnaces.
It was a realization that we have in South Africa a lot of people who just collect a few circuit boards and take them to a recycler who then just crushes them up and sends them overseas. And we said, why can't we process this material here, create jobs with that?
The challenge for the scientists: finding a method that works at a smaller scale and price point that also does not contaminate the environment. They developed a chemical extraction process for copper. A thinned ammonia solution trickles through the ground-up circuit boards. Over the course of several days, the solution extracts the copper, indicated by the blue coloring. The ammonia mixture can be used several times, which makes it even more environmentally friendly. The concept of recovering rare metals from electronic waste is called urban mining. Like many African countries, South Africa only recycles a minority of its waste. So far, more than 50% of it ends up in landfills, or as in the case of e-waste, is shipped overseas. Monitoring waste streams, experts say, is one key incentive to up recycling.
You wouldn't recycle waste just for the goodness of your heart. The people who do it need to earn an income and ideally make at least a small profit on it. And so the idea is to say, well, there's value in this material, so if you can extract the value, then it is a worthwhile industrial undertaking.
The idea for the e-waste recycling project was developed here at the hydrometallurgy lab of the university. Currently, the team is still in the research phase. Through data collection, they want to refine and demonstrate the effectiveness of the chemical extraction, not only for copper, but also for retrieving gold. Apart from lower energy and setup costs, the method has another advantage.
What excites me about this project is the fact that we are trying to develop technology for our local end users, for the African case, where we're dealing with very low volumes of electronic waste relative to what other countries handle, but still being able to find green technologies that can help us recover metal without doing much harm to our environment.
In Cape Town's industrial area, Jochen Peterson visits a local recycling company that is still exporting e-waste. Peterson's looking for new raw material. Up until now, the researchers have used identical model boards to make results comparable. But in future, the method has to work for any type of circuit board. The project could reach pilot phase by 2022.
Seeing a real connection between sports and the environment isn't always easy. But once again, a few young people from Zimbabwe have come up with a surprisingly interesting idea. And Eco Africa was there to get it on film. You might even be able to try it out yourself. Here is our Doing a Beat segment for this week.
These cyclists draw plenty of attention as they pass along the streets of Mutare in eastern Zimbabwe. But the activists from the community initiative Pedal and Plant are not just out for a joyride. One of their goals is to talk to motorists and encourage them to trade in their four wheels for two. Fewer cars would mean less pollution and reduced emissions.
So with us cycling, that's a more sustainable and eco-friendly way of mode of transport. So that's why we're using bicycles. And so we also want to encourage people to be using bicycles as possible as they can.
And that's not their only concern. It's known that trees absorb lots of carbon dioxide, but Zimbabwe loses more than 300,000 hectares of woodland every year due to fires, logging and land clearance for settlements. The bike-riding conservationists want to undo some of the damage by planting trees. Today, it's acacia seedlings that were dropped at a pre-designated spot. This species produces large amounts of pollen and nectar, so they're being planted near beehives.
I think it would be a great idea to introduce this idea to smaller kids and children from a very young age, teaching them about tree planting and cycling at the same time.
So far, the activists have financed their activities themselves, but they hope donations will soon start pouring in, especially as they spread their campaign around the country.
And how about you? If you're also doing your bit, tell us about it. Visit our website or send us a tweet. #DoingYourBit. We share your stories.
There are a lot of things you need every now and again, only once, but it is surely not a good idea to buy all these things. Platforms designed to allow people to share tools with their neighbors are currently trending in the European cities like Berlin. They're not only economically useful, but also beneficial for the environment. Sharing is on its way to becoming a new lifestyle.
Albrecht Trübenbacher has clearly done this many times before. He's putting together his bike trailer so that he can lend it to a neighbor, for free, of course. That's nothing out of the ordinary for him. He regularly lends out his belongings. Garden equipment, tools, a child's mattress for sleep-ins. If he lends his neighbors these things, so goes his thinking. They won't have to buy them.
I don't see this as being anti-consumerist. It's about sustainability. These things are used so rarely. If you use something a lot, then buying something makes increasing sense.
The two men got to know each other via an online neighborhood platform. More than 1.6 million users are connected to people living in their vicinity via nebenan.de. The startup was set up in Berlin in 2015. The portal is free of charge for users. The company funds itself via donations and small ads placed by companies in the respective neighborhoods. People use it to lend and borrow stuff, to swap information, or to offer help. By contrast, Jan Gerlach never meets any of his customers. He offers high-quality tools for €1.50 an hour. You can reserve them via an app. Toolbot is built around the classic business model of the sharing economy, where companies earn money by renting items out for a particular period of time.
It used to play a role how big your record collection was, and you needed your own car to get anywhere. And if you had a lot of books in your shelves, you possessed a lot of knowledge. Today we have Wikipedia, car sharing, there's Netflix, and Spotify. What you have isn't important anymore. It's having access to things that's crucial, and that's why the status and the role of belongings is different today.
Anja Schwartz is one of his customers. She's a dancer who travels around the world a lot for her work. For small household tasks, she borrows what she needs from Toolbot, an electric drill in this instance, even though she could buy one if she wanted. She managed to borrow, use, and return the tool within an hour.
€1.50 is a lot less than the price of a drill, and I can always come here and borrow it again. That means I can get it as often as I need it.
Jan Gerlach is launching a crowd investment campaign to help him grow his business. He believes his model could also work with other items and on an international basis.
Having your own four walls, a comfortable, pleasant environment to live in, is a dream that many people all over the world have. But in Ghana, being able to build your own home is something very few people can afford.
Very true, Sandra. A businessman in Accra is now trying to solve two problems at the same time: the huge piles of garbage in the streets and the housing shortage in the capital. Younger middle-class citizens in particular are looking for affordable places to live. Nelson Boateng's houses could be a good and sustainable solution.
Ghana's first plastic house is an interesting sight. What looks like normal brick is actually a mixture of sand and plastic waste. The bricks, made from recycled material, are stable and good insulators.
The bricks are designed in such a way that there is a groove or hole in between, which doesn't allow the heat from outside to get in and also maintain the temperature of the room.
Ghana's capital Accra is continuously expanding. Every year, about 50,000 more people come here. Affordable housing is increasingly scarce, forcing many people to live in slums. Nima, the largest slum in Accra. 50 people live here, crammed inside this house. Hamidu Mohammed has a job as a messenger for a company, but he still can't afford his own house or apartment. The slum has no toilets and no regulated garbage disposal. Filth and waste fill the canals, including huge amounts of plastic.
This is where we always sit, chat, eat food. We don't have any place to sit. We don't have any place to get fresh air unless this place. And this whole place is polluted with our own people, we ourselves, because we don't have dustbins in our houses.
This facility accepts waste, and it says it employs over 300 people to collect trash in the area. Today, staff will sort through 3 sacks full of bags, bottles, and packaging. Depending on the quality of the plastic, the company pays the trash collectors up to 1 cedi per kilo of waste. That's equivalent to about 15 euro cents. Nelson Boateng used to be a plastic bag manufacturer himself. Then, he changed his business model. Now he wants to help solve the plastic waste problem and combat the housing problem at the same time. He designed and built both this cleaning device and the machine that breaks down and melts the plastic. The bricks are made from old melted plastics mixed with sand. Under pressure and extreme heat, a paste is formed from which the bricks are finally pressed. His facility can produce 25 bricks like this per hour. They are made of about 1/3 of recycled plastic.
So I'm so excited that I can use one problem, that's the plastic waste problem that is affecting the world, and then use that same problem to solve housing problem in Ghana.
And there's another advantage. Compared to concrete, plastic bricks are a climate-friendly building material. Cement production is responsible for about 8% of global greenhouse gas emissions. For many Ghanaians, cement and steel buildings signify prosperity and success. But Nelson Boateng knows that affordable property remains a major problem in Accra. His house, made of plastic bricks, is about 1/3 cheaper than a comparable concrete house. Some construction contractors see building with plastic bricks as a chance for people to have access to their own homes.
So the thing is, if this is supposed to come in now to help us reduce the cost of production or cost of building, then we should go for it now, so that at least any low-income person can get access to accommodation. So why do you have to wait? Because the plastic is already polluting the environment.
Their YouTube videos have helped spread the word about plastic bricks in Accra. They've received orders for 20 houses, with each dwelling requiring 3,000 plastic bricks. They have their work cut out for them.
The problem is we don't have enough equipment and space to operate to meet the customer demand. So we are still in the struggle stage to meet the customer demand, because people like the product because it's cheaper and the durability.
A house with all the amenities for those who can afford it. Viewings take place every day. Recycled plastic seems to be a trend among Ghana's young urban professionals.
I think it's a win-win for me to use plastic to build houses, because I'm getting a product that is much better than using regular concrete, at the same time for a cheaper price, whilst contributing to sustainable development.
Nelson Boateng has gained international recognition for his invention, with an invitation to this year's Plastic Recycling World Expo in Germany already in the bag.
A recycling revolution will be fantastic, not only for Ghana, but for the whole continent. Here at Echo Africa, we try to do our bit every week by showing you new ideas to make a better world. And next week, we'll once again have more. Till then, I'm Chris Elems, signing off from Lagos, Nigeria.
Thank you, Chris. All the best to you and our viewers. Do not forget to check us out on our social media platforms. Let us stay in touch. I am Sandra Twinovideo here in Kampala, Uganda, and I look forward to your company again next week. Bye-bye.